Now, mining disasters are a thing of the past in Scotland. The country's last deep mine at Long Annet in Fife closed back in 2002. But the rescue techniques developed after decades of mining is now put to use in other industries, including the offshore and renewable energy sectors. The organisation, which at one time answered the call when disasters struck at the pit, is now training a new generation of rescue teams, as Andrew Anderson has been finding out.
At the moment, we're getting about 200 parts CO from the gas monitor.
Under the ground in a mine where smoke is billowing around. Rescuers search for a missing man. Visibility is poor. They're carefully making their way through half a kilometre of passageways burrowed through the earth, each man equipped with an oxygen tank. Then the news those on top had been hoping for.
Go ahead, Liam. We've located the casualty at point G. He's unconscious.
Minutes later, the casualty is on a stretcher and being taken to the surface.
1, 2, 3, nice and gently.
This is a training exercise at a facility in the village of Crossgates in Fife. It was once one of several centres operated by the Mine Rescue Service. Established in 1910, it covered Scotland's collieries. Dale McQueen joined 37 years ago.
Back then it was mainly fires underground, predominantly during the miners' strike. I was involved in fires at Salsgirth, Francis and Seafield. Both Francis and Seafield were under the sea, so that was a completely new concept for me, because obviously the coal mine I was in obviously was on dry land. It's something I always wanted to do from the very moment I joined the collieries back in 1977, and it was because it was a disciplined workforce and I wanted to be part of a team, and I was always interested in health and safety and rescue techniques.
Knockshinnagh Castle Colliery near Cumnock, Ayrshire, is the scene of the greatest rescue operation in Scottish mining history when earth subsidence traps 128 men below ground.
A reminder from 1950 of both the dangers of coal mining and the determination and skill of the rescue teams. All but 13 of those miners were brought out alive from Knockshinnagh. With Scotland's coal mines gone, mine rescues are almost unheard of these days. The Mine Rescue Service is now known as MRS Training and Rescue. Its teams more likely to be found working at height than deep under the ground. Here, staff are simulating the rescue of a worker who's taken ill and is dangling from a mast. Skills needed in the likes of the offshore and renewable energy sectors. As well as training others, its teams are also ready to respond to emergencies where getting to casualties is a challenge. Errol Parish is operations manager.
The standards are very much the same. The training that we do is very similar. I mean, we bring people in now, it's predominantly training people in rescue, breathing apparatus and that type of thing. So the standards are very much the same, but the environments we work in are very much different. I mean, some of the environments you can underground, in an emergency, some of the most hazardous activities you'll come across.
Bodyguard, screen itself.
Members of the team test their breathing apparatus. Their lives depend on this kit. Some of them are former miners, but younger members are drawn from a range of professions, such as the armed forces and the prison service. One's a former supermarket worker. Ross Graham joined from the police force.
There's certain correlations between the emergency services and here at Mine Rescue. There's a lot of first aid work and dealing with external agencies whilst we're at jobs both in the emergency services and here at Mine Rescue as well.
And it's physical work. How tough's the training?
It is tough, physically, mentally, emotionally sometimes it is quite tough.
In 2004, when an explosion reduced the Stockline factory in Glasgow to rubble, mine rescue techniques were once more put to use by the MRS team, as Errol Parish explained to me.
It was about supporting what was left of the building, and initially that's what we concentrated on. We secured what was there, and I very much thought we would do in a mine. After we'd done that, we implemented a system which we called tunnelling and shoring, which is tunnelling into the rubble to find casualties, and we recovered a few people. It was a successful exercise on our behalf.
We've stabilised the casualty and we're about to make our way out now.
For the MRS team, safety is the cornerstone of what they do, trying to make every workplace as safe as it can be, whether it's deep under the ground or high above it.
Message understood. Emergency services standing by. Over.
I'm sorry, we seem to have had a problem right at the end of that, but I hope you got all of the gist. That was Andrew Anderson, absolutely.